Hello everyone, and welcome to another video tutorial for another bow upgrade. And in this video we're going to be going over the skull bow upgrade, or the void, whatever you want to call it, but I'm going to call it the skull bow for the purpose of this tutorial. And I'm going to show you basically all the steps you need to take in order to get the skull bow. I will say that this bow, it's not exactly difficult to do, it's just very time consuming and can be very annoying to do. I will recommend that you do this bow in the earlier on rounds, because there's one step where you need to actually get crawlers, and if you do this later on in rounds it can be a lot harder to get crawlers, unless of course you have a gobblegum like crawl space which makes crawlers. But if you don't have that and you're just trying to make crawlers with grenades or a ray gun or something, it cannot always be easy. But yeah, I recommend if you do this bow, then you should do it in the earlier rounds. Anyway, I just wanted to go through that. So, last thing I will say before I begin, this is me doing this bow. This is again in the same game with my friends, where we upgraded all the bows. I was the one that did this bow, the skull bow, and I also did the thunder bow or lightning bow, but I'm not going to do that one because I've already done that video, and you can always check that one out if you want to see that tutorial. But yes, I'm the person doing all this, so this will all be from my point of view. Also, I do use, obviously, the theatre mode to go out and about, to zoom around at different aspects of things so you can get a more clear picture of what you need to do for each step. And I'm trying to make this as in-depth as I possibly can. Right, so first things first, you're going to need a bow. Like I've said in my previous two videos for upgrading bows, if you don't know how to get the bow, I will eventually, I think after I've done the other bow, which is the fire bow after this one, I will put out the video on how to actually obtain the bow, as that is quite important. But I'll put that out so you guys can figure that out. But in the meantime, feel free to go and look at Google or YouTube. I'm sure some other YouTuber, I'm pretty sure someone else, of course someone else has, put out a tutorial on how to actually obtain the bow, and it's really easy to do, but I'm not going to go through it in this video. I'm just going to assume that you've already got the bow. So anyway, if you have the bow, then you need to come down here. This is the courtyard with the gate towards Double Tap. You need to go out towards Double Tap, and what you will see is, if you look above the gate here, the first one that we've just been through, you'll see this little symbol up top here on top of the wall. This is the symbol for the first bow of the skull. This is a skull symbol. As you can see, those are all the little skulls that are around, and there's the little voidy bit. So yes, this is the symbol you need to look for, and then once you find that, you're going to come over and shoot it with your bow. Just do a normal shot, don't bother charging, or you're just going to waste ammo. So yeah, you just need to walk down here like I do, aim up at the wall, shoot it, and then your arrow will fall out the wall, as you can see down there. All you have to do, run into it and pick it up. As soon as you pick up that arrow, you will hear a demon voice saying, "Release me." And I'm just going to go back so that you guys can actually hear that. I'll turn it up as well.
I know not what you are, but perhaps I will do as you ask.
Right, so I was obviously playing as Richtofen for this, so that was his quote after the demon voice says, "Release me." But you can also get other quotes from the other characters as well, but that's not really important. I just thought I'd let you hear it. But yes, also I will go through this like I said in my wolf video. I'm not going to go through every single one of these steps in the symbol here for each stage, because nobody really wants to see that. But I will go through it at the very beginning and also the very end so that people can understand what it is. So this is the symbol that you get for starting a bow. In this case, this is the symbol for the skull bow. As you can see, an arrow at the moment is bent and looks broken, and there's a circle which is all black at the moment and not filled in. Now each time you complete a step through upgrading the bow, a little white beamy thingy will keep going around this circle. It will be split into different bits, and it will just keep going around on each step that you do, and you will see this when you complete this step. And basically it will just keep going around until you get all the way up to the top. It will still say that it's all split, and the arrow will eventually at the end come together, as you will see later on, and will no longer be broken. And then once you fully upgrade the bow and you actually pick it up, the upgraded bow, the arrow will be straight and you'll get a little symbol in the middle, and that will no longer be split. This white circle will be full. So yes, I thought I'd let you know that. So the second step of this bow that you need to do is, once you've picked up the arrow, head up to this room here. This room, the easiest way to describe it is, you saw I was there in the first room. Instead of opening up to the right, which is where double tap is, open up to the left, which is where mule kick is. So all you have to do is open the left door up top, or just opposite quick revive, run up that tunnel, keep running up past mule kick, keep running up that tunnel, and you will come out into this room. This room here is also another place where you get the picture for the wolf bow, but that's another tutorial, and so that's another reference in case you get lost. What you will notice now, if you come into this room, in case you came into it before, you will notice now that there is a little square of purple on the floor. This is a bit of a pain, this next step. So this step is probably best if you obviously have an instant kill when you're doing this, or if you do it at a low round, grab a Bowie knife. But you could always just stab them like I did here, because it was pointless getting a Bowie knife at this point. But you could always stab them with your bow or just a general knife. I was using the bow in this case, or the arrow. And what you need to do is you need to stab a zombie. It just has to be one zombie, precisely on this little square here. You can't do it out of the boundary of the square, because it won't work. You have to stab a zombie specifically on this square, and what will happen is that square will then break up, and what you have to do after that is go up to this little hole that will now be in the floor, and use your interactive buttons. So it would be either X, F, or square, depending what console you're on, and this little urn will come out and float up in the air, and you'll see the rest in a minute. But yes, like I said, I recommend that you get a Bowie knife if you're doing this on a low round, because it's very easy to just run up here and stab a zombie on top of this. Or if you have a Burkaholic, in case you're doing an Easter egg or something, and you have it early on, then just stab a zombie with your knife here, and because you'll have the new perk, you'll be able to take them out straight away with Widow's 1. Otherwise, you use the arrow and just keep stabbing a zombie until eventually it dies here, or your normal knife. Anyway, this is what I do here. So you can see there, I was stabbing a zombie, and I literally just stabbed it just on here. I'll admit it was nearly close to coming off, but I stabbed the zombie precisely on that tile. And as you can see, what has happened is the tile is now broken up and blown up, basically, and there's a load of purple mist under, which you're now going to see what happens here. So like I said, you need to go and interact with this little hole using your FX or square button. This little urn that you can see here will fly up in the air, and you're going to hear that demon voice again, which says return which is scattered. And basically, you're going to see what's going to happen in the next step, but you'll be collecting skulls. Anyway, I'm going to go back quickly just so that you can specifically hear the demon's voice, and turn it up a bit for you. And I also decided to get a good view of the urn for you, just to show you what it looks like. And it will stay floating up in the air like that until you finish what you need to do in here with it. But yeah, you will also hear Richtofen in a minute too.
Do not try to trick me. Be yours. Clever.
This is what it looks like if you do it in first person.
Do not try to trick me.
Okay, so I'm going to turn the volume down again quick. But yeah, this is what you need to do for this next step, is you need to go and collect these little skulls. These skulls, when you pick them up, will teleport into that room, and you'll see this little symbol on the floor. Well, there's a few of them in a big massive circle on the floor in that room that you just come out of with the urn, and you'll see the skulls there floating above. But you'll come back to that in a bit. But first of all, you need to go and collect all the skulls. So the first skull is here, or I'm going in this route. You can go in any route you wish, but in this case I'm going to say this is the first one. It's just opposite Mule Kick. So if you remember, we ran past Mule Kick earlier to get into that urn room. If you run back down that tunnel, you'll run past Mule Kick again, and just instead of going straight down, you'll see this wall here with a dead guy on it. Walk over to this part of the wall here, and you'll see a skull in there. Use your interactive button, the square for X, and you will pick up the skull, and it will show that it's been picked up, because you see a purple mist around it, and the skull will disappear.
Unwise.
There we go. And again, like I said, I wasn't going to describe this, but what I will show you quickly as I can here is there's this is what the white light looks like when you complete a step. So like I was saying, it's all split up, but later on it becomes full and it's no longer split. But I thought I'd just show you that quick. Right, so the second skull was by double tap. If you don't know where double tap is, if you're in the first room, go to your right and open up that way if you haven't already. And you'll come out here, just run up the top here and you'll see the gate and you'll see double tap. Run towards double tap's area, and just up here there'll be a skull that you need to go and pick up. And there you go, that's the skull, and again you get the purple misty stuff. And also before we carry on, I had to do this with a wolf bow as well. My friend Born Phoenix, who was in the game doing the bows with me, does enjoy the Easter egg like songs, so he did actually put on the music Easter egg while doing this. So I just want to say that this is not something that's going to happen to you when you start doing this step. You're not going to hear a song randomly playing. No, that's a completely different Easter egg, but he wanted to listen to the song at the same time. So just ignore the fact that it's even playing, but obviously it's an awesome song. But yeah, don't think that it's something vital that you're not hearing it and you should be, because that's not the case. Right. So the third skull is up here by Samantha's room. So if you run through that gate that we were running through before, you'll come into a courtyard, and then just take a left as soon as you're entering the courtyard. Go up this staircase, and you'll see a landing pad. Just run towards the landing pad, turn left, keep running down the walkway, turn left again, and run across the bridge, and you'll come up to this point here where I am, and you'll need to enter Samantha's room, which is here on the left, and then go to her toy box, and there will be your third skull. And then the fourth skull is in the other courtyard on the other side of the castle. This is actually, if you were in the urn room, this is if you run up again, you'll come out into this courtyard and you'll see a down tank. Go to the right of the down tank and you'll see these stairs here that you can run up, and you'll get the skull up there. If you're coming from the communication room, which is where Speedcoder is, just run out of the door of the communication room. You'll see the tank. Go to the left of the tank and come up these stairs here, which are basically just straight away on your left. Run up these stairs, and then you're going to pick up the skull, which is here on the window, as you can see. And then that is your fourth skull. Your fifth skull is down in the void area, the ritual area. The ritual area, in case you don't know, is the room with the pyramid and the gatekeeper statues. It's also the room where you collect your bows and things once they're upgraded. But if you come to the back here where the teleporter is, which you need to use to get to the test rocket site, and you're going to be running past the pack-a-punch that's at the back there behind me, you'll come through this little arch here towards the teleporter. Run towards the teleporter, turn to your right, and if you come over here, and you'll see the safe and that you see in the Easter egg, come over here to this sink where there's like a little cloth and all that, and your skull will be in that sink. And that is your 5th skull, and then finally, one last skull left. If you go on that teleporter at this point, it'd be easier, or you can fling down if this place is already opened up, and the landing pad's activated. Come down to the test rocket site area, and if you're coming from the hangar doors, because you teleported, go to your left and you'll see this truck over here. Go to the back of the truck and there will be a little skull in there that you can pick up. If you're coming from the flinger thingy over there, land over there and then just go straight to the right and walk up these stairs, down these stairs, and you'll come to the back of that truck and you'll see the skull there. And as you can see, there's the last skull. So altogether, there are 6 skulls to pick up. Make sure you get them all, because if you don't get them all, then you will not be able to do this next step, which is a really, really annoying step. But yes, anyway, we'll get to that now. Okay. So once you collected all the skulls, return back to the urn room that you were in earlier, and you will notice now that there is a symbol on the floor with like a load of little circles and everything. It's in a big circle too, and you will notice that every skull that you picked up is now floating above each one of these little circles. Now, if you don't see 6 skulls here, of course, then obviously it means you haven't collected all the skulls, so look around and find them again. But you will, as soon as you come in here, hear him say, the broken souls must be sacrificed in my honor. For this step, you need to cover quite a few zombies. I think it's 5 or 7. I can't precisely remember the amount. Bring them in here. Make them crawlers with either a cruel space, gobblegum, which can be very helpful for this bow if you're doing it, or you can use a grenade or a ray gun later on or something like that. Just make sure that you make around 5 or 7 crawlers, and make sure they're in here in this circle so that these skulls can go and eat them, and then eventually that is the next step, and then you will know when it's finished. But what I will do is just quickly turn that up, and hopefully you'll be able to hear the guy speak without the music getting in the way, I hope. Well, that seemed to work pretty well. I think everyone would have been able to hear that. Again, apologies for the music. Anyway. I just was having Richtofen talk and do what he was saying. All he was saying was just, why do you want zombies alive? I don't know. But anyway, you didn't really need to know about that. But what you need to do, of course, is let some zombies in, or let them run up, run down there, or run up from the bottom wide mule kick. And there's also a load of windows that can come in this room too. And then just train them around in the circle like I do. And then once you have quite a lot, hold a grenade, throw it down, or use a crawl space or a ray gun or whatever. Make the crawlers, bring them into this circle, and then the skulls will eat them. And as you can see, I've got a better view for you guys so that you can see it all. Oh, and also what will happen is once you make these crawlers, you actually, is it the crawler bit? I think it is. So I've actually gone slightly blank for this bit when it comes to the crawlers and also the next part where you kill zombies. I can't remember if their souls go up into the urn or not. Do they go up? No. So as you can see for this bit, the skulls will start eating all the zombies, as you could see. and they have to be crawlers. There can't be walkers like that because it won't work. So make sure you get crawlers, and the skulls will eat them, and then you will see the next part. Oh no, they do. I thought I got that right. Sorry guys, I was debating about whether I got this right earlier or not. Because the next step is killing zombies in this. But yes, when you kill the crawlers, you'll see that the souls will go up into the urn, and that just proves how many zombies you killed, basically, with the skulls. So, as you can see, the demon voice thingy started talking about a griffin stag and that. Those are things you're going to need to remember for a little later on, just after this next step. In fact, you're going to need to remember it. But don't worry, you don't have to remember it precisely, because you can shoot an arrow at this urn once we do this next step, and then he will say, like what he said before, griffin stag or whatever. But we'll get onto that bit after this next step. So for this next step, you need to come around down here again, and you'll see now that these little circles that are spread around the place actually have little symbols on them, as you can just slightly see there and there. What you need to do is kill zombies on these symbols. It has to be on the symbols. Don't kill them here or off here, because it won't work. It has to be on the symbols. Make sure that when you kill zombies, they're on the symbols. And once you kill zombies, they will start to light up gradually, these symbols. And then eventually you can tell when the symbol's done, because it will be as bright as this, basically. But you have to have every single one of these little circles, symbols, fully done and brightened up. And that's what you're going to see here. I like to point out that this does take quite a long time to do this next bit. So this could take you probably, I'm not precisely sure, it could take you about 3 or 4 waves to do, I think. It's not exactly that fast. Also, if you see those little symbols, you can run and pick them up. It doesn't really make that much of a difference, but you should go and pick them up. But here's an example of what happens once you've killed enough zombies on the symbol. You can see that it's now lit up like that, and that means that it's now done. And you just need to do this for all the other ones. And I decided to show you a bit of me killing them and so on, but yeah, it also doesn't matter what weapon that you use to kill the zombies of this bit. You can use a bow, you can use a knife, you can use grenades, you can use a gun. It actually doesn't matter, you can use whatever you wish, so don't feel that you have to use something specific. Basically, those little pickups that you see of things like that symbol there and that one, once you complete a symbol, that little power-up will spawn, and then if you run into it, it will appear on the floor. So yes, do run into them, obviously. But normally people do run into these things, because they're curious. And then I decided to skip on at this point and show you pretty much what it looks like when you completed it all and you have killed enough zombies on each of the little circles to create the symbols. So this is what it will look like once you've done that. You'll see that each of these symbols here is complete and lit up. There's also 2 little power-ups there. Don't worry about those, they're not important. But make sure you pick up the little power-ups that look like this around normally, as they will create these symbols on the floor. But yeah, basically this is what it will look like. The circle will be completely illuminated, and you've done that step. So the next step that you'll be doing is you'll be shooting at the urn with an arrow. The demon voice will say 3 sets of names. It can be absolutely anything. It could be a griffin stag, a crown, a griffin stag and a door, but yeah, we'll get to that bit in a minute. But it will say 3 things, and then it will say go and like make my name. So what you need to do is, I first of all advise you to actually get the circle, like look at the circle basically that you created, and if you want, take a picture of it for its symbols, or draw the symbol out if you want to do it that way or something. Or if you're just in general very good at remembering symbols and things, then remember it. Just remember each of the symbols, because you'll need to remember them in theory for this next bit. But let's get on with that, shall we? I'll turn the volume up as well so you can hear what the guy says. So like I was saying, make sure you shoot at the end, which is what I do here. So that's what he says, so I thought I would just show you that. Obviously decided to run off a little bit to go and start doing it, so unfortunately he didn't get to hear him perfectly at the last bit, but like I said before, he would say 3 names at the beginning. It can be any name at all, so don't think that it's going to be the same as I got in this video. Could be any order at all, but make sure you go and hit these symbols, which you're going to see on all these knights now, and I'm going to show you here in this bit in theatre mode every single knight in each of these bits of this room, which is up by stamina. If you don't know, you can go through the communication room where speed coder is and go up the stairs on the right if you enter into the communication room from the courtyard, and if you go up the stairs on the right, you'll come to this room here with the knights in it, and this is where you need to be. Or if you're coming from the Pack-a-Punch area and the power bit, then run past stamina and you'll run out here anyway into this little corridor bit, which is where you need to be. So all the knights are around in this corridory room place, and each symbol is on a little plate here, which you'll see in a minute, for each knight, and basically the names that he said, like a griffin or a stag and a door. So for the case of a griffin, you'll see on this little knight, not this one specifically, but on a knight, you'll see a little little icon of a griffin that you need to just walk up to and interact with it. So obviously to interact, use FX and square. But what you need to do, and you need to be fast about this when you do it, is you need to look at the symbol that will appear up here just above the top of this little stool here by the knight's feet. So there will be a symbol which you saw earlier in that circle around by the urn. This is why I say try and draw the symbols out or take a picture or something so that you know which symbol you need to shoot later on. So if you, for example, draw it out, you can tick, for example, the little symbol that pops up here on the stool, and it will obviously show you which one you need to shoot. You have to do them in order of what the guy says. So if it says Griffin, Stag, Door, you need to do it in the order of Griffin, Stag, Door. If you do it out of the order, then it won't work. So here are the examples of the statues that I'm just going to show you now. So here's one there, there's one over here, and there's the little griffin statue there. There's another one over here, the stag. Then there's one down here, which is the crown. And there's also one there, which is of a door. There's also one up top, and I'm not sure if I actually went and showed you it in this video here. But where you saw the, I will go back and show you in case I don't go up there, so I can point it out to you. But there's the crown, and then behind me was the door. Do I go up? No, I don't. Let me go back a second and show it to you. Hang on. I want to make sure that I show you guys precisely where all the knights are so that you can figure it out. Right, so yeah, we've got that one there. Okay, so when you come over here, I showed you this knight here that you have. There's also another one up there that you need to go to as well. So bear in mind, if you couldn't find your symbol because of this video, I didn't show you precisely all the symbols and what they look like. I was just showing you the symbols specific to the order that I had. Then it's up here, the knight, and you can find it up there and go and do what you need to do. But yeah, obviously there was the griffin, and then there was the stag here, and then finally the crown is down the corridor over here. But those are all the knights that you need to walk up and interact with. And you will see me do that now. Well, in a second. There we go. So this is what happens when you interact with it. Remember, to interact with them, you just hold FX or square, and a symbol will appear up the top of this little stool at the bottom of the knight's feet. Now, like I said, you can either take a photo of this really quickly if you can do that, or you can draw out the symbols from before, or you can draw the symbol really quickly if you want to. Do whatever you feel is best for you to remember this. In my case, I actually tend to take a picture of these three bits really quickly, just because I can do that quite quickly, and I have a phone ready to do that, as it makes it easier for me to remember the symbols at the time, because I'm not very good at doing something like this and remembering these symbols and then having to go off and do something else with zombies and so on, and then later on coming to do it again and I forget it. So yes, that's why I do that. But here's one of the symbols that you will get if you're doing a griffin, and you'll be seeing these different symbols that you need. Just remember them. You need to remember the precise order that these symbols look like and the order they were in when you had the guy speak. So if you're doing it in the order that I'm doing it in this video, you're fortunate and lucky. Otherwise, you're going to have to figure it out yourselves, I'm afraid, guys. But obviously, like I said, it's not too hard. Just try and remember the symbols. So that's what you get for the griffin. The stag, you will get that. And bear in mind, as soon as you move over to the next knight, the symbol from the one before will disappear, and they do disappear after a certain amount of time anyway, but just bear that in mind. So this is the next symbol that you have here if you're doing it my way, and that's for the stag. And then the last symbol you have here, the crown, is that. And if you're doing it in my order, then you're very lucky and you know all the symbols and what they look like. But obviously if you're doing it in another order, it shouldn't be too hard. Just follow the same process that I did. Make sure you get it in the right order and you'll be okay. Once you get all the symbols that you need and you remember them, or do whatever you need to remember them, head back to the urn room yet again. And you will see back on the floor, this is why I said the circle is quite important. You will see the symbols from before that I was going on about. You need to shoot with an arrow on these symbols. Make sure you shoot the symbols of the order that you just seen the symbols from the knights. So, in my case, it was in this order, which you'll see in a sec, of that symbol there first, of course. So I will go over there and shoot that one first. Then this symbol will appear here. Basically, the symbols will appear in the order of what you shoot it in. So the next symbol I got was over there. As you can see, shoot that one, that will appear, and then finally that one there, and that will appear. And you will see that all the symbols are there. And eventually, if you got it right, like I have here, the demon will say, "You got my name right, well done." But if you get it wrong, this is what I really want to stress here. If you get it wrong, run. Just get out of the room. Go either down that way or come up these stairs here, because if you stay in that room, you're going to die. You are going to get absolutely demolished. Because basically if you get it wrong, then he will say, "That is not my name," the demon, and then all these skulls will come out and start getting angry, and they will absolutely massacre you if you're in the room when that happens. So make sure everyone is out of the room when you actually do this, in my opinion, because if you get it wrong and they're in the room as well, you're going to die. So yes, basically, do get out of the room. It doesn't last for the whole rounds when he gets angry in there. It just lasts for a few seconds. and then eventually the skulls will go back to normal, and you'll just need to repeat the process again with the knights, and then come back and try again. But in my case here, I got it right. I'm going to turn it up so that you can hear the guy's voice and what he says. And then what will happen is once he says that is my name, again, stay out of the room. Even though you got it right, just stay out of the room, because the skulls will go insane again and go mad and start flying around. You can't see them doing that here, unfortunately, because of fearful mode, but they normally fly around like that, and the urn will start spinning around and stuff, and it'll go into the floor, and you will see what happens next. Okay, so once it's done that, and it's just like this on the floor, enter back into the room, and walk up to this little hole again that we made earlier, and the urn's gone into now, and interact with it. So using your interactive button of FX or square, walk up to it, and just interact with the floor. It might take a few seconds for the arrow that will come out of the floor to come out, so just bear that in mind. You haven't missed it when you've interacted with it. It just takes a few seconds for it to come out of the floor. But what will happen is your arrow will fly out of the floor there, and then you'll be able to pick that up. And then once you pick that up, you'll be returning down to the ritual area, and you'll be putting that arrow in its box, and you'll be charging it up with souls. But we'll get to that in a second. So this is what happens when you interact with it. Like I said, it can take a few seconds, so give it time. And you will put your you'll put your arrow in, and then there's the arrow there that you pick it up, and then basically you'll see here now, which I'll go on about here, as it's actually different, this symbol now. You completed all the steps that you need to, other than obviously putting the arrow in its box and charging it up, but you completed all the main steps, and you'll see that that arrow that was originally bent and behind Richtofer's head is now straight and actually together. And you'll see now that this white circle that's all split apart is now all complete. But you'll see that change in a minute. So once you've done that, head on down to the ritual area, like I was saying before. I'm trying to pause it as quickly as I can. That will do. Right. So once you're in the ritual area, you'll see by the pyramid there are a load of boxes that you need to walk up to. Walk up to the box with a corresponding symbol for your bow. And if you remember that symbol from the very beginning of this video on the wall with the skulls and the little void, that's what you will see on this box. Walk up to this box. Use your interactive button on the box, so FX or square, and you will put your arrow inside it. And when you do this, you will be given a max ammo. So if you're low on ammo, then you're going to be getting more ammo anyway, so don't worry about it. And then after this, all you have to do is kill zombies inside this area. I stressed this in the wolf bow tutorial, and I kind of wish I had done it for the other bow as well. But obviously I wasn't really thinking about that at the time. But anyway, what you need to do is make sure that you kill zombies in the pyramid area. So in the little area around here. So you can kill zombies on the stairs or down below the stairs by the pyramid. But you cannot kill them out here. It will not work. The souls will not go into the box. So make sure you kill them down here in this little area. They don't have to be right next to the box. Can be over by another box and shoot them and the souls will still go in. Just can't do it outside of this area. It has to be inside this area, okay? Right. So once you are doing that, eventually the bow will be complete and it will have all the souls it needs, and the arrow will go in and you'll get your bow, but you'll see that in a minute. But you'll know when this is finished, because if you keep killing zombies and you don't see a soul, like a little purpley colour, fly into the box, which is what happens when you kill the zombies at this point, then it means that you completed the soul collecting and you're ready to collect your bow. So this is what happens when you kill zombies. A little purple orb will go into the box. Like I was saying, make sure you kill them down here, around this area. Do not kill them out there. And if you're wondering why there's some bluey orbs, that's for another bow. So don't worry about that, it's not important, it's for a completely different bow, it's the wolf bow, which I've covered in another video. Also try and be careful not to get cornered or anything at this point down here, because if you do, then it's going to cause you, well, no end of grief. But at this point you can tell now, like I was saying, if you don't see an orb fly into the box, that means that you killed enough zombies to actually go into the box and use your interact button again. So once you've got all the souls that you need, walk up to the box, use your interactive button again on the box, so FX or square, and your arrow will stand up straight, go inside the box, beam of light and everything will go all mad and so on and fly around, and then the bow will pop out and you will see the bow flying in the box, which is what you will see in a second. As you can see, that is what happens, and then the bow will come out. And this is what the skull bow looks like when it's upgraded. But obviously you will see it in my hands later on. I did actually at this point, because obviously, don't forget I was doing 2 bows in this tutorial. Well, in this game, when we were upgrading bows, I had the job of doing 2 of them. So when I finished this bow, I ran off to go and do the next bow, which was the electric lightning one, and I left this bow behind, but I came back and picked it up later and used it a little bit, just to show you what it looks like when you use it. But what I will say is, unfortunately, you will not see the symbol of me picking up the bow and stuff, so I will explain it here. If you remember that symbol earlier, which was the little circle with the character and the arrow and stuff, when you pick up this bow, you will see that symbol again, except that symbol where it's got the splits of the white will be a complete white circle now. It will also have an arrow that's straight again with a little void around it, and then in the middle of the circle you will see a voidy like symbol that you saw on the box, which was of all the skulls and stuff and the little symbol. And that will mean that you completed your bow and you've just got the skull bow and completed the steps needed to get it. But now, just before I finish off this video and stuff, I'm going to show you some gameplay of the actual skull bow. And actually, oh no, it did show it. I didn't think it did. My bad. There you go. So that's what the symbol does look like when you complete the bow. There's the white circle all the way around. As you can see, there's no splits in it anymore, like I was saying. You can also see the little voidy pattern with the skulls in there too. So that's what it looks like when you complete the bow and you've normally collected it, but for some reason it seems to have been played here, even though, I don't know, sometimes you don't see these things. Anyway, at least I got to show you it. Right, so here's some gameplay of the void bow in a second. I was just showing off the bow a little bit more. Right, so this is me running around with the void bow. First of all, I'd like to point out, this is the effect that you get with the void bow. If you shoot it once, or the skull bow, if you shoot it once, then you'll just get a little voidy mist. If you hold it and charge it, bear in mind, if you charge it now when you've upgraded it, you will actually not be getting any loss of ammo in regards to, like, with the normal bow you actually charge it up and lose 2 arrows. Now you will just be losing 1 arrow like normal. So yeah, it's quite good that, and you can conserve ammo quite easily. But when you charge it up and shoot, a little skull like this will appear and it'll fly around, and there'll be loads of skulls that fly around, and they'll start eating the zombies up and killing them. Now, before I carry on and show you this, first of all, this bow is not great. I've got to be honest, it's not that great. It's okay. I don't mind the bow. I have to say it's definitely the worst one out of all the bows in the end, in my opinion. I know a few people like this bow quite a bit, but when it comes to using it for the Easter egg, I will definitely say no, and I will stress no, do not get this bow for the Easter egg. It is not a good bow for the Easter egg. It will get you killed. Also, if you are doing the Easter egg in solo, don't build all the bows. It will make your life really difficult later on when it comes to getting the souls for the keeper or the keeper's spirit that flies around. And just build one bow. It will make life much easier because you don't have to run back and forth to pick up different bows. But also, basically, this bow is terrible for panzers. It's absolutely awful for a panzer soldat. Basically, you can just shoot about probably 5 shots charged into its head, and it might lose its mask. That's not great. Whereas if you shoot one bullet of the electric bow at the panzer, his mask is off straight away. It's just that simple, that quick. Which is why I'm recommending that if you want this bow for getting to high rounds, no. If you want this bow for the Easter egg, no. And if you want this bow to kill panzers easily, no. Basically get this bow if you just want to try it out and have a bit of fun with it. Because that's fine. That's basically what the bows are for, really, to have fun with and so on. But don't get it if you want it for any of those other reasons. You should seriously just get the electric bow. Or if you really want a different bow, get the fire bow, which I will do a tutorial next on. But obviously, I'm stressing this highly for everyone's benefit here. Try and not get this bow if you're doing it for any of those other reasons. It will get you killed. But yeah, anyway, that was the point of showing you this, is how to get it. But yes, that's what happens when a panzer soldat gets shot with it. As you could see, all the skulls will fly around. There's quite a few of them. They do a lot of damage to the zombies, and they do kill the zombies, so I'll give it credit there. And you didn't really see me doing it because I was focusing on showing you the zombies getting eaten by the skulls, but what I did actually do is shoot about 4 or 5 shots into the panzer soldat's head when he was originally here, and eventually it blew his mask off, and he came running after me afterwards, which then left a ton of skulls flying around everywhere. But yeah, I didn't even kill the panzer soldat in the end with the skull bow. I actually killed him with a plunger. But whatever. So yeah, that's it really. That's all I can show you for this. So I showed you the effect of it as well at the end because I thought you might like to see it. Anyway, like I was saying, this bow's not the best. It's fun to use at points, but it's not the best. I hardly ever go and get it, to be honest. I will only ever get it if I really am just feeling like I want to use a different bow for a laugh. This bow obviously takes a while to get because of the steps being quite long. It also isn't as effective as basically every other bow. And the steps are quite easy to do in some ways, but they just take time. And they can be dangerous at points when you're in that urn room, so do be careful. But otherwise, that is the upgrade process for the skull bow. First of all, I want to say sorry for constantly mixing up my words when I was doing this tutorial for you guys. I guess it's just one of those days. So I didn't mean to do that. Hopefully it didn't bother you too much. Otherwise, I hope this tutorial helped you guys out. I know a lot of people that find the skull bow pretty difficult because they don't understand what to do half the time. And I was trying to explain it in the best way that I possibly could. Bear in mind that the bit with the 3 names is not the easiest thing to explain, but I tried my best to explain it as best as I could. And I think I got across the message quite well in the end. Hopefully you guys think the same as well because of that. We'll see. But yes, I did try my best to get the best description as I could for you. Also, if you have any questions after this video, because I am expecting that there will probably be questions for this bow in particular, out of all the bows, then please do not be afraid to leave a comment about what it is you're stuck on or whatever, or if you want to message me because you feel like you want to make it a bit more private and not out to everyone in the open, which a lot of people do. For me, they like to message to me privately because they don't want others to see. I respect that, so feel free to do that as well. And I will answer you and help you out to the best as I can, basically. Um, so yes, I do help out people if they get stuck. I've done it already for the other two bows as well. Anyway, that's it basically for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you could please leave a like on the video, I really appreciate that. And if you're new to this channel basically in general and you haven't really seen many of my videos, do go and check out the rest of the videos on my channel if you like this video. I do a lot of zombies videos. In particular, I'm doing a lot of tutorials and gameplays and things for zombies at the moment. I've still got so much stuff to put up for zombies. Bear in mind I'm also putting up a lot of zombies from Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2. I've got tutorials for the Easter eggs on my channel as well. And very soon I'm going to be putting up the tutorials for Buried and Die Rise once I finished off with these bows. And also how to obtain the bow. And there will be other Easter eggs in the future as well, like the EISENDRACHE and things like that. And I do other games as well, like Star Wars and other different older games and so on too. So if you want to enjoy that, then please check it out. I'd really appreciate it. If you subscribe, that would be awesome as well. The amount of subscribers I got recently is overwhelming, and I really appreciate that. And I have to say thank you to everybody that has subscribed to this channel, and I hope you'll stay with me for the rest of my journey. Also, I have said this in the other two tutorial videos, but I thought I'd say it again in this one and probably the next tutorial video too. If you like the Batman Arkham games, I have got a second channel which is for everything Batman Arkham related, and also other Batman games too, which I'm uploading Batman basically video related things to that channel. And I go into in-depth tutorials on how to get the Riddler trophies and other things like that, on how to do combat challenges, predator challenges, and I'm also doing walkthroughs of the story and so on. Now bear in mind that I have only just basically built this channel, so I haven't had a chance to put loads onto it yet, but I have got quite a bit of Arkham Asylum on it so far, and I will be uploading a lot more to it in the short, term basically. But obviously, like I said, it's only just been created, so give it time. But it will increase over time in what videos it gets. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you found it useful. Like I said, if you have any questions, then let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video.